Welcome to Ms. K's math class. In today's lesson, we will look at simplifying fractions. Here I have two square blocks that is the same size. For the first one, I'm going to divide this into 4 equal parts. So I'm going to divide into 4 equal parts. For the second square block here, I'm going to divide it into just 2 equal parts. For the one on the left, let me shade in 2 portions. And to represent this as a fraction, I shaded in 2, so I need to write 2 on top. And out of the 4 pieces, so it is 2 over 4. And on the right, I'm going to shade in 1 block. And this is represented as 1 out of the 2. So what do we know about these shaded parts? We know that what I shaded on the left equals to what I shaded on the right. And so we can say that 2 over 4 or 2/4 is the same as 1/2. You can see that the numbers have reduced. The 4's become a 2 and the 2 became a 1. And how do we get from 4 to 2? We need to divide the 4 by 2 and we need to divide the 2 by 2 to achieve 1. This process that we just did by dividing the numerator and the denominator and the fraction 2 over 4 equaling to 1 over 2, this is simplifying fractions. So let's read what it says up here. We can simplify a fraction by dividing the numerator and the denominator by their highest common factor. When we have simplified a fraction in this manner, we say it is in lowest terms. So the part where it says we need to divide the numerator and the denominator, that's what we did here. We divided the numerator and we divided the denominator. But what do we need to divide by? We need to divide by their highest common factor. So we need to understand what highest common factor is. So I'll write HCF. All numbers have factors. We're going to use an example here, 2 over 4. So I'm going to have the 2 written down and the 4 written down. Factors are the numbers that times to make up the number. So how do I make up 2? What numbers do I need to multiply to make 2? So the factors are 1 and 2, because 2 can only be made by timesing 1 and 2. For the 4, let's think of the factors. What 2 numbers times to make 4? Starting with the lowest 1, 1 times 4 makes 4. Moving on to 2, 2 times 2 makes up 4. And there's no more factors. Instead of listing as 1, 4, and 2, this is what I prefer to do. I like to write them in order from the lowest to highest. So when listing the factors, starting with the 1, I knew that 1 times 4 make up 4. So I would leave a space and write 1 and 4. And the 2 is another factor of 4, so I would write 2 in the middle. With the highest common factors between 2 and the 4 now, we need to look at the factors of the 2 and the factors of the 4 and find out the highest number that we see in both of them. And so the highest common factor between 2 and 4 would be 2. So the HCF is 2. Because highest common factor is 2, we are dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. And that is why we divided the numerator by 2 and we divided the denominator by 2 to achieve a simplified fraction. 1 over 2 is simplified and it cannot be simplified any further. And so we call this lowest terms. So this 1 over 2, is in its lowest terms because it cannot be simplified any further. Expressed in lowest terms, we have 10 over 25 and we're going to simplify so that it is expressed in its lowest terms. In order to do that, step 1, is to find out what the highest common factor is. And step 2, we need to divide by the highest common factor. So we have the 10 and we have the 25. Let's begin by listing the factors. Starting with 1. 1 times what makes up 10? 1 times 10 makes up 10. Moving on to 2. 2 times what make up 10? 2 times 5 does. 3 cannot make 10. 4 cannot make 10. 5 is already here, so we know that 1, 2, 5, 10 are the factors of 10. Moving on to 25, what are the factors of 25? 1 times 25 make up 25. 2 cannot make 25. 3 cannot make 25. And 4 cannot make 25, but 5 times 5 will give us 25. And so we know that 1, 5, and 25 are the factors of 25. Between these factors listed, what is then the highest common factor? The highest common factor is the 5. So knowing that HCF is equal to 5, we will divide the numerator and the denominator by 5. 10 divided by 5 equals to 2, and 25 divided by 5 equals to 5. So that means that 10 over 25 can be simplified to 2 over 5, and that 2 over 5 is in its lowest terms. Moving on to the second question here, I have 3 over 24. So let's begin by listing the factors, the 3 and the 24. So the 3 can be made by timesing 1 and 3. And so 1 and 3 are the factors of 3. For the 24, I have 1 times 24, 2 times 12, might need more space, so 12 and 24. Can a 3 make 24? Yes. 3 and 8. 4 can, and 5 cannot, and then the 6 is right here. So we have the factors listed for 24. Between these factors, for the 24 and the 3, the highest common one that we see up here, and for the 24 would be the 3. So it means that the HCF is 3. So going back to our fraction, we need to divide the numerator and the denominator by our highest common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1, and 24 divided by 3 is equal to 8. So that means that 3 over 24 can be simplified to 1 over 8, and that 1 over 8 is in its lowest terms. Let's simplify 8 over 12. Let's begin by listing the factors of 8 and 12. One key skill here would be to be able to list the factors. And to list the factors, you need to understand the times tables and know what to multiply to make 8 and 12. So starting with the 8, I always start with 1 and 8, and 2 and 4, and in between the 2 and 4, only 3 can get in, but we know that 3 cannot make 8. And 4 is already here, so we don't have to worry about that. Can a 5 make 8? Nope. 6, 7, and then the 8. Yes, and 8 is already present, so it means these 4 numbers are the only factors of 8. Moving on to a 12, I use the same method. So 1 and 12. And 2 times 6 make up 12. And 3 and 4. And 5 cannot make 12. And 6 is already present, so it means we can stop here. So between these factors listed, what is the highest common factor? The highest common factor would be the 4. So the HCF is 4. Knowing this, we can divide the numerator and the denominator by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the simplified version of 8 over 12 equals 2 over 3. Next question, we have 15 over 18. So let's begin by listing the factors. 15 and 18. 15, 1 times 15 equals to 15. 2 cannot make 15, 3 can. 3 times 5. Can a 4 make 15? Nope. Can a 5 make 15? Yes, and it's already here, so it means we can stop. For the 18, begin by 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 and 6. Can a 4 make 18? Nope. Can a 5 make 18? No. Can a 6? Yes, and it's present already, so it means we can stop. The HCF between 15 and 18, so the number that appears up here and down here would be the 3, and this is the highest number. So HCF between 15 and 18 equals to 3. So coming back to our original fraction, we divide the numerator by 3 and we divide the denominator by 3. 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5, and 18 divided by 3 equals to 6. So 15 over 18 can be simplified to 5 over 6. What if a fraction has a negative number like the one shown here? What we need to do is we just need to repeat the step of finding the highest common factor between 5 and 15 first, and divide the numerator and the denominator by the highest common factor, and just put that negative sign. So for example, with 5 over 15, and that's a negative 5, we will begin by listing the common factors, disregarding the negative sign to begin with. So for the 5, the factors are 1 and 5, make up 5, and that's all for 5. And for the 15, 1 times 15 make up 15, and 3 times 5 will make up 15. A 4 cannot make 15, and moving on to a 5, it's already here, so we know that we're good to stop. The highest common factor between 5 and 15 is 5, so we know that HCF is 5. What we now need to do is go back to our original fraction and divide the numerator and the denominator by our HCF, which was 5. Now, what is negative 5 divided by 5? Negative 5 divided by 5 is equal to negative 1, and 15 divided by 5 equals to 3. So ultimately what we're doing is we sort of have to just ignore about the negative sign to begin with, find the HCF, divide the numerator and the denominator to simplify the fraction, and simply just put that negative sign where it was. With our next question here, we have 8 over negative 20, and this time our negative sign is in the denominator. And so what we've done for the top question here, we're going to do the same. So we're going to first list the factors, then we're going to identify the highest common factor, and then we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator to get the simplified fraction, and we're just going to put the negative sign. So step 1 is to list the factors. So I will have my 8 and the 20, and I'm going to list the factors. 1 times 8 make up 8. 2 times 4 make up 8. A 3 cannot make 8, and the 4 can make 8, and it's already here, so it's time to stop. And for the 20, 1 times 20 make up 20. 2 times 10, and a 3 cannot make 20. 4 and a 5 can, and a 6 cannot. 7, 8, 9 cannot make 20, and 10 can, and 10 is already here, so I know that I can stop. Between these factors listed, the highest common factor between 8 and 20 would be the 4. So HCF is 4. Knowing that, going back to our original question, we're going to divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2, and 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5, and put that negative sign in front, because negative 20 divided by 4 is equal to negative 5. So that means that 8 over negative 20 can be simplified to 2 over negative 5. Here's my last question for today. I have negative 2 over 12. So first, we need to list the factors of 2 and 12. The factors of 2 are 1 and 2, and the factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. So the highest common factor between 2 and 12 would be the 2. So going back to the question, we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6. And you might be wondering, what do we want to do with the negative sign that is right in the middle, in between the numerator and the denominator? And the answer is, you can just simply leave it there. So it becomes the negative 2 over 12 can be simplified to negative 1 over 6. I hope you found today's lesson on simplifying fractions helpful. Like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.